today we're joined by Will Wasson, the Suicide Prevention Coordinator at the VA down here in North Bend. We're going to talk a little bit about suicide. Thanks for joining us, Will.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So we know that veterans have a high suicide rate. What makes them an at-risk population?
Yeah, we're looking at 4 key characteristics when we talk of veterans being at risk for suicide. First is perceived burdensome. Second one is thwarted belongingness. And then you're also looking at 2 different key characteristics as those go along with other at-risk populations. You're also looking at moral injury, a lot of the action that occurs, especially in combat areas, that goes against what their moral compass is. And then you're also looking pain tolerance as a very significant factor that puts veterans at risk as well.
So what are some strategies that the VA is currently using to in suicide prevention?
Yeah, so the VA really encompasses a public health model approach. The idea of that being is that we want coordinated efforts on the federal, state, and local levels. So one method that we utilize within the local aspect is community engagement and providing suicide prevention trainings, which we'll discuss a bit more, I believe. On the other aspect of that, for universal, we deal with a lot of veterans who are not in VA healthcare. So we've developed a marketing campaign called #BeThere. The influence behind it is any one person can make a difference in another person's life by simply being there and taking a moment to listen to them. So that really is what we're trying to do, is empower every community citizen to be able to take an opportunity to just be there for someone who might be at risk for suicide. Well, what we're looking at is we look at veterans. What the statistics are showing is out of 20 to 22 deaths by suicide of veterans each day, only 6 to 8 of them are in VA healthcare. And so if we're not, what we're identifying is how do we really address those veterans that are not in healthcare? And so that's by providing the tools of community residents to better understand how to identify, and when you do identify, what to do with that.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's really great. So what do you see as the chief interventions toward reducing the numbers of suicide deaths that you said? I mean, that's pretty significant, 20 to 22 a day.
Yeah, I believe one is that community awareness, and by identifying individuals in varied professions and providing them a suicide prevention training so that they understand the basic aspects of identifying risk, asking the question, which can be a very challenging thing to do. It's a very uncomfortable topic, but asking that question, are you thinking of killing yourself? Validating the experience, again, listening to that story, again, uncomfortable, but being able to be present with that person. They want to be asked. And then if you do, after you're in that process, it's then about expediting and encouraging treatment. Another very important part to that would be increasing mental health services that are available in the community. I think that's a very big opportunity that we have.
Yeah, I think that that's something that you hear a lot about, not just in rural areas like ours, but just across the nation, that the lack of mental health services available. It's not that they aren't there, it's just that there isn't enough capacity for the need in certain aspects. Yeah. And now you said that you're working on with the community partners, and there's going to be a town hall coming up, right?
Correct. Actually, it's even better than that. What we're doing during the day, we are training over 60 local community residents and local professionals in varied disciplines in a suicide prevention model. And then that will be followed thereafter on June 11th at the Mills Casino, which is a Tuesday, from 6 to 7:30 on the 2nd floor is where we will have a town hall with a very distinguished panel. Really, again, you talk about how to decrease suicide incident rate, it's about awareness. So the more that we're talking and the more that we are having these conversations, stigma comes down as well.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to get the community involved and the information out there. We've had a string of suicides, not just veteran suicides, youth suicides, but suicides in general. So if you could join us at the town hall on June 11th, 6 to 7:30, Mill Casino, 2nd floor. There'll be a little resource fair, and you can get some good information. So for The Remedy and Coos Health and Wellness, I'm Eric Gleason. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.